welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. And this is Outpun episode 17, fantasy booking series that I started last year, detailing how I would have different people win championships. And this one, it's going to be a little bit of that, but this is mainly focused on the death of the Death Riders. So will be a few titles changing hands. The main story here is Claudio and Moxley. So let's talk about how we get to that point. But it's really Moxley against the entire Death Riders. But how I do it, just gonna get it started. April 12th, Dynasty. Moxley got the match with Will Ospreay. I had Moxley retain. Of course, I know Ospreay just came back. A lot of people expect him to win. Maybe the Death Riders get involved. Maybe they don't. But maybe Jon Moxley cheats to get the win. But I do see Jon Moxley winning. I think either one of them could win and be fine, but for the sake of this story, I will have Moxley retain. Then Ospreay can do some other stuff, considering it is a lot of titles in AEW, and Ospreay is talented enough to win a couple of matches and win 2 or 3 straight matches and get back into a title picture. So then, from April, then you have Double or Nothing after that. Leading up to Double or Nothing, I will have the Death Riders talk about their plans, how they want to get off the goal, how they want to run the world. Because AEW they own Ring of Honor, and they had a partnership with CMLL, so they can go, because obviously it's a lot of titles within AEW since they had these partnerships, and with the main partnership being CMLL and them owning Ring of Honor. So talking about that, having matches around those places that end up becoming championship matches, so having the Death Riders going to go around the world winning in Ring of Honor and CMLL and AEW. Then you get to Double or Nothing, May 24th. So it's 3 matches I got planned for that show. I would do Moxley versus Jericho for the Continental title. Have Moxley retain, of course. I know Jericho just came back, but I think you can throw him into that. Him and Moxley have a good match. I don't expect Jericho to win a title in his return, in his final run, that I'm assuming. He could, which would be cool, but I don't think he really needs it. He just needs to have a really solid run with some good matches and some good feuds, and I'm sure that could be this. Then I would have Pac and Wheeler Yuta win the CMLL tag titles versus whoever is the tag champs. I don't know who it is. I don't watch CMLL, but I would take advantage, because you already had Claudio win the CMLL world title, so this isn't out of the realm of possibility. So, and then I would have Ronda Rousey return, from that stretch of April to May, I would have Ronda Rousey return. I know stuff due to the Toni Storm thing, it's a bit tricky now to figure out what to do with her. Have Willow hold the TBS title until Double or Nothing. Have Ronda beat her for the title. So Ronda's in the mid card. She ain't been in the ring the last few years. Her last time in a match was 2023 in Ring of Honor. So you can put her in the mid card. You can hide them flaws a little bit, and she can work with talent like a Willow Nightingale, like a Harley Cameron, even that can help her look good in the ring since she's just coming back. Not the run that's bad, but she might be a little rusty, considering that once she would have been past that fight that she had at this point. The boxing match she got, and obviously boxing, wrestling, completely different. And so I would have her first program back be with a Willow Nightingale and win that TBS title. And then now all the Death Riders got gold throughout nobody won the Ring of Honor, because I was thinking Ronda could have won the Ring of Honor stuff, but she could have matches in the Ring of Honor and on AEW. Then she could either win the TBS title or the ROH, the women's TV title, I think it's called, because that'll get more views. I mean, you can get more eyes on AEW anyways, because it's Ronda Rousey. So, and then in that month of June, I would have the Death Rider celebrate, and Moxley, he's like, we're almost there. Most of us got gold, but you, and he talking to Claudio, he's like Claudio and Marina, but y'all didn't pursue any titles. So what's the plan here? And then that's when Yuta and Pac blindside Moxley. Claudio reveals that this was the plan all along. It says that Moxley was starting to lose himself, shaking hands with who did he shake hands with? Shelton Benjamin, shaking hands, trying to be this respectable guy. The same thing that we kicked out Bryan Danielson for. You're trying to become that, but the fans will never accept you, etc., etc. Claudio, he could do something like that, and then this leads to Bryan Danielson getting involved. He's a little conflicted because he was part of the Death Riders, but they did take him out, and Moxley was a part of that. But deep down, he still feels for Moxley, so he tries to help him. So he tries to help him, but they take him out. I write him off TV, and it's not just. And this could lead to him having one more match, because I do think Bryan Danielson's doing a good job on commentary. to me personally. So I would just take him off for this short bit, just for a few months to build this story to make it feel more personal. By Brian trying to help because he feels so conflicted, but he understands Moxley even after all the stuff that he put him through. He still got some type of love and respect for him, so he tries to help. He get taken out. Now we're going into July because I think I could be mistaken, but All In is August 30th. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. But if All In is late August, then this is how the story will go. I would have Renee Paquette try to get involved. She would challenge Marina Shafir to a match, but obviously we know Renee as a backstage reporter. She's not a wrestler, so you can have Marina Shafir dominate her in that match, get an easy win, brutally beat her up. Then that leaves Renee injured, writes her off TV. So now Renee and Brian is off TV. Nobody can back up Moxley. Nobody else rocks with Moxley. The only reason why Bryan Danielson got involved is because of his history with the Death Riders. But Will Ospreay, he don't care. Moxley tried to break his neck. The Hurt Syndicate, they're all about hurting people. They're not about helping people. So why would you help Moxley? It don't make sense. And Moxley beat Shelton Benjamin, so he should be fine with that. So all the private party, John Moxley, he tried to instill some confidence in them. Maybe they respect him a little bit, but they still can't bring themselves to help John Moxley because of what he did to them, the Rascals, etc. So it's all these people that the Death Riders have dominated, terrorized over the years, that nobody's willing to help John Moxley, so he really has to be alone for the first time since he initially arrived in AEW. Because he's been with the Death Riders a minute. It's not been the whole time, but it's been a while since he's been truly alone, and this little stretch will be him being alone. Even once he comes back, he will still be alone, but this little stretch here will be his first time being alone in a minute. So then, so we still in July. Moxley, he's angry. He's like, I was still the only one with a championship when y'all didn't have anything else. When I got a title back, y'all didn't win. When I lost the title, y'all lost y'all titles too. You can talk about Claudio losing to some bum and CMLL that nobody knows. You could really, actually, no, I wouldn't bury the partnership like that. But you could say something. You could call the guy a bum, saying that he's like the second worst guy on the CMLL roster, something like that. Bury that. Because it's Moxley going to be a face at this point, but he's going to be a face with an edge. So he could disrespect the CMLL guy, and that could lead to them having a match in the future. And maybe the CMLL guy gets the win, and Moxley got to show him respect. That's a whole different conversation. But yeah, something like that. And then he can challenge Claudio to a match at All In. Leading up to that, Moxley can have a match with Pac and lose that, but beat Willa Yuta in a match. So then you get to August 30th, All In, as I'm assuming. Have Marina Shafir taking on Tekla, taking on Mercedes Moné for the AEW Women's World Title in a triple threat match. You can have Marina get the win here. Then on 2 pre-show matches, I would have Ronda in a 10-woman battle royal. Maybe Queen Amanada, Harley Cameron, Jamie Hayter. I'm trying to think who else. Hikaru Shida, etc. 10 women, maybe a few from Ring of Honor. And Ronda retains in a 10-woman battle royal, showing that it's going to take a lot to beat her. So, yeah. Or she could even cheat to get the win. She could roll out the ring, take people out from over the top rope while being outside the ring. If you wanted to do that, like she's still cheating, but she's not scared. So it's a strategic advantage by going under the bottom rope to do that. So then I'll have Yuta and Pac retain versus the Maximum Male Collection, whatever they call it. Have them retain against them before they eventually lose to a CMLL team. And then I'll have Claudio defeat Moxley to win the Continental title. Just after all the trash that they talk to each other, it makes the most sense for them to kick out Moxley, make Claudio the leader, and fully invest in him, and see how that can work with the Death Riders, with him being the leader and being Mox being the only one being alone. So I would build up Claudio, make him the most important key here, have him be the one to dethrone Moxley for the Continental Championship, and then I think he could have matches with Eddie Kingston, Mike Bailey. I'm trying to think of some other faces. Action Andretti. I don't know if Andretti is a face, but yeah. Leo Rush, Tommaso Ciampa, even though he's not a face. But he can have matches against the likes of those people, build him up, getting some credible wins. Maybe beating I forgot Daniel Garcia is part of the Death Riders too. Oh, I didn't book nothing for Daniel Garcia because I honestly forgot that he was part of the Death Riders when I was making this. So, and that's so. With that being said, I would have an all in. This this is on the fly too. I would have Daniel Garcia win the contract to potentially the contract to cash in to win the AEW World Title. I would have him win that. So now it's so yeah, Daniel Garcia. That really shows how unimportant he is in this whole thing. Because I did forgot he was part of them. But yeah, I would have him win that contract thingy that they do, and I'll explain what I do with the contract towards the end. But then September 2nd, Dynamite. Death Riders they celebrate. They got all the gold. I would have because you got Marina as AEW Women's Champ, Ronda Rousey TBS Champion, Wooly Yuta and Pac CMLL Tag Champs, Claudio Continental Champ, and then what's the name? Daniel Garcia with the contract to potentially for a guaranteed world title shot at any time. So, and then I will have Moxley challenge them to a 1-on-6 that following Saturday on September 5th Collision. So I do have to think of another person to add since it'll be Daniel Garcia included as well. It could so that match on Collision it would be the now what did I think? The Collision match it would be oh no not the non-trip. I was thinking it's a 1-on-5 match and a 5-on-5 match I had planned. So I do him 106 versus Death Riders, taking on all of them, and obviously the Death Riders win. That way they can take out John Moxley. So we have 6 of them, 4 men, 2 women. He gets to put his hands on both the men and women, but ultimately the Death Riders stand tall. And taking him out, he has to be stretchered to the hospital, or yeah, and then that's gonna lead to him being taken out for a few months. At World's End, that's when I will have all the Death Riders lose their matches. They'll go 0-5, or no, they'll go 1-4 actually. Because with the Daniel Garcia thing, now that I remember he's part of the Death Riders, I would have him win a match. It could be something random, like him versus Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy tries to get the contract from Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia is the only one to win, so he has the most momentum. So you're expecting the Death Riders to carry that momentum. I will have Queen Abinata defeat Ronda Rousey to become the new TBS champion. We know Queen Abinata is back now. Now I'm filming this before AEW Dynamite, so this is being filmed on Wednesday. Will be out Thursday. So by the time we recording this, I don't know if Willow is or isn't champion. So I won't know till after I'm done filming this. But I would have Queen because I don't think she'll win. Queen Abinata when the well, it don't matter, but. Queen Abinata, I would have her defeat Ronda Rousey to become the new TBS champion. And the way it happens is because it might not be the most believable for Queen Abinata to get it done. So the way I would do it, I would have Ronda get caught cheating, and she's trying to cheat, do it multiple times where she gets caught cheating because Queen Abinata is giving her a hard test, something she hasn't seen before. It's just a different style, a different pace that she's not used to. So she would have to try to cheat multiple times, and the second time she gets caught, Queen Abinata takes advantage and rolls her up to win and become new TBS champion. Yuta and Pac, I would have them lose the CMLL tag titles to one of the CMLL teams because it won't really matter. Like I said, don't know much about CMLL, but you can give the company more exposure by doing this. I think it could work out to their benefit, especially if on World's End you have them win the titles back. You have a CMLL team win their titles back on an AEW pay-per-view. It's more exposure. Maybe their sales go up. Maybe more people are watching CMLL. So it could be a win-win. And then Mercedes, I would have Mercedes get the 1-on-1. She would beat Tekla in a contenders match to determine who should get the next shot at World's End. Because obviously it's going to be a vote. Well, actually, I would have Tekla get her a rematch first. She still lose. Then Mercedes can get a match down the line at World's End. I would have Mercedes defeat Marina Shafir to become AEW Women's World Champion to end the year, but that'll be due to Moxley interfering because Marina she's gonna outpower Mercedes, but Mercedes will out wrestle her. Then Moxley can interfere because Moxley was closest with Marina Shafir in the Death Rider story. If you paid attention to it, even though she was a late addition he's been the closest with her since she's arrived. So I will have him cost her the title so it feels more impactful. Then Kevin Knight, I will have, obviously Claudio is still Continental Champion. The Continental Classic is going to happen. I will have Claudio win Gold League, and I will have Kevin Knight win the Blue League. Put Kevin Knight in the Continental Classic again. This time gets all the way to the finals, and he beats Claudio to become the new champion. I don't think no interference or no shenanigans needs to happen. It's going to be a clean. Maybe the Death Riders try to get involved. Mike Bailey, Heyman, who I think will still be a face at this point, they can offset some of that interference. Well, actually, it's Continental Classic, so interferences can't happen because that's automatic DQ. So scratch that. So Kevin Knight, he can win clean. That's a Continental Classic. It's about who's truly the best, no interferences, who can out-wrestle the other. And I would let Kevin Knight get that win. So then, the Death Riders go 1-4 that night. Daniel Garcia still got his contract. Orange Cassidy wasn't able to take it away from him. And the reason I added the Daniel Garcia thing, because I still think it's stuff that he can do. So, then the first collision, 2026, that's how you could end them chase on. I wouldn't say end it completely because I think it's still stuff you got to do going into February. So I say it might be a bit long, but I think you can stretch it from when I said from May to February, which is May. That's wait. So that's about a 9-month feud with Moxley and the Death Riders, but it's going to lead to the other people splitting up as well. So the last 2 months is going to be the Death Riders feuding with each other, so it won't just be them against Moxley. So the end of the Death Riders versus just Moxley, that will end in January. Then going into February, that'll conclude the entire Death Rider story. So first collision of 2026, I will have a massive a 10 and 12 person tag. Actually, I'll do a 10-person tag match. Daniel Garcia doesn't want to compete in it because he was out during. You can plan through this. Daniel Garcia was out during, or whoever's challenging Daniel Garcia at that time. I think you could throw not Hook, but Jack Perry. You could throw in there. I don't think Jack Perry would be national champion by this time. And Jack Perry don't really got history with anybody, but him and Daniel Garcia could be actively in a feud, which is why you just automatically add Jack Perry just to make it make sense because he's already feuding with Daniel Garcia. So you have an Anarchy in the Arena match to end the first collision. Or you can do it to start the first collision of 2026 because that could be the first hour of the show and people wouldn't mind it. It can be like 40 minutes to start the show and people wouldn't mind it. It's like certain matches they will do that for. They will have an hour match or a 45-minute match, but it only works for specific matches. You could do an Anarchy in the Arena early in the year. Do John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Kevin Knight, Jack Perry, Mercedes Moné, and Renee Paquette. I know y'all thinking, what about Queen Aminata? Queen Aminata don't really got history with them. They took out Renee and Bryan Danielson. That's why I'm adding them. Queen Aminata, she don't really got to get involved in this because it don't concern her anymore because she already took care of business, so it don't really matter what happens with her. And then Mercedes, she got the help from Moxley a little bit, so she has to credit him because without the interference, who knows if he still wins the match. So I would have them 6 team up to take on the Death Riders. As y'all know, Wheeler Yuta, Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, Marina Shafir, and Ronda Rousey. So I had that be a massive 12-person Anarchy in the Arena match, and I'll let the face team get the win. I think, especially since the face, they got the champions in Kevin Knight and Mercedes. I feel like when you do massive matches like that, the team with the champion should win. It's like the Death Riders. This is going to lead to their downfall even more. So this is finally the end of the Death Riders versus Moxley, but it's still more with the Death Riders that involves Moxley, so it's not just them feuding against him. After that match, after they lose, that's when everything falls apart. That's when we see more cracks. Marina, Ronda, they get into a big brawl. Friendship over. In kayfabe, because in real life they still cool, but friendship over. They're fighting to become the number 1 contender for the women's world title at a Grand Slam. And I would have Ronda get the win since Marina already held the world title. And you can do Ronda versus Mercedes. You can do Ronda versus Mercedes again. Well, because this happened before in WWE when Mercedes was Sasha. So we've seen it before, but the style, the match, it will be different being in AEW. So seeing them running back again, maybe for the last time, because I don't think this would be a long run by Ronda Rousey. You can do Ronda and Mercedes, so that could sell. What's the first pay per view? What's the first pay per view of the year? Is it Revolution? Yeah, Revolution. You could do that at Revolution in March. First pay per view of the year, Ronda Mercedes. They run it back. You can do that. So, and then I would have Pac, Wheeler Yuta, John Moxley, and Claudio. Actually, the John Moxley stuff. John Moxley don't got to be involved in this because he still wants us to get back on. He wants us because he already beat them in the Anarchy and the Arena match. I would have him pin Wheeler Yuta, since not just because he's an easy target, but because he was the last one. Daniel Garcia was the last one introduced, but Wheeler Yuta, it was more important and significant, especially. And then Daniel Garcia, he got the contract, so I don't want him taking the pin when he got the contract. You want to build him up as a contender. So I would do Pac versus Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia versus Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta get the win. Because once things are all over, they all talk about how successful they've been and how Wheeler Yuta is the only one that hasn't really got anything. Because Pac, he's been a singles champ. Daniel Garcia's been a singles champ. Claudio's been a world champ. So Wheeler Yuta, Pac, they were tag champs. But Pac has tasted success outside of a tag team. He's tasted success whether it be tag, trios, or singles. So he's tasted success everywhere. Claudio, like I said, world champion, the highest success you can taste in wrestling, no matter what the company is. And then Daniel Garcia, he just won a 21, the Casino Gala Battle Royal, taking on multiple different guys with multiple different styles that can be world champion at any time. Wheeler Yuta, no single success. So I would have him get the win to prove, oh, y'all think I'm not like that. I can get the job done. I can beat all three of y'all in a match. And then it's obviously other stuff that's going to boil over. Pat could be mad about Claudio trying to lead everything and how it went downhill once Moxley left. Daniel Garcia, he could be like, y'all forgetting, I'm the one with a guaranteed world title shot. And I'm the only one that won at World's End while the rest of y'all lost. So everybody is going to have some type of talking point that leads to the four-way. And then Wheeler Yuta could get the win. And he would benefit the most. And he could pin Claudio. And because it's a fatal four-way. Like, you don't got to make it all make sense for the story. So nobody got to look super strong. Like, they could all look great in this match. And then to expand on the Daniel Garcia thing, I think Daniel Garcia, he could cash in but have a short reign. Like, we know we've seen short reigns in AEW, but let Daniel Garcia cash in, have people upset about it, then he loses a week later. Give him a mid-second run. Give him an 8-day run. Because sometimes it can be beneficial. Maybe that 8-day run comes at the expense of running back one of these feuds. Maybe John Moxley becomes 4-time world champion, beating Wheeler Yuta, and that could be a feud. But not Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia. I do think if he cashes in, his reign won't be any longer than 2 months. So I will let him get the contract, have a short reign, make him a transitional champion. Because some guys, they can be it. I think Daniel Garcia is entertaining enough to be a world champion for just a little bit, but not super long. In the mid-card, he can be a champion for a while, like he was previously. Like a few months, like around 5-6 months. Like, he could sure be a mid-card champion again. But if he wins the contract, I'll make him a transitional champion. But maybe fans get upset, but you could bring some heat if he's still a heel. And if he's back to being a face, you can get some good crowd reactions. Then a top heel could take it off of him. They get some insane chance, like if he did that and then Swerve beat him. Assuming Swerve's still heel, he can get some insane heat. But hey, whatever you do, I think if you do win the contract, it's gonna be a short reign. It won't be. It's gonna be 2 months or less. But that's how I would split the Death Riders. That's how I think. That's the steps I would take to split the Death Riders. You got to bring Ronda back. You got to get Renee involved. You got to get Bryan Danielson involved. You got to make this super personal. Kevin Knight, like I said, the Continental title could bounce from Moxley to Claudio to Kevin Knight, who I think is more than earned the title at this point in his tenure in AEW. But the story is mainly about the Death Riders. So upon episode 17, it was a few title changes. It was a few title changes. But it goes into the story of how I ultimately split the Death Riders. Because it is something that me and Black Couch Booking have talked about multiple times in the past. And it still hasn't happened yet. So I don't know why Tony Khan's taking so long. But I think they need to split soon. And this is how I will book it. So let me know what you think. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, and share for others to see.